Your brain doesn't want you to succeed. The same brain you're counting on to build your dream business is actively working against you. It would rather bankrupt your dreams than face real uncertainty. And this is not a motivational quote, it's actual biology. See, I've worked with 300 founders across every stage of businesses, from freelancers to 100 million CEOs, and all of them at some point end up hitting the same invisible wall. And it's never competition, not market forces, not cash flow issues. It's their own biology. See, nature wired your brain to flee exactly what scaling a business successfully demands: uncertainty, risk, chaos, emotional pain. And this is why most founders end up failing in business. Think about it. When was the last time you knew exactly what you needed to do to get to the next level, but you found yourself doing something else instead? When did you last avoid, for example, raising your prices or having a difficult conversation or firing someone who was clearly hurting your company, but you didn't do it? This is not laziness. This is that your brain evolutionary programming is running exactly as it was designed. This is why 90% of businesses fail within 10 years, and only 1.1% of businesses scale to 7 figures, according to the US Bureau of Labor. Growing your business is literally an evolutionary test, and most entrepreneurs fail it. Not because they don't try hard enough or they're dumb, no, it's because they're human. Let's break it down. Your brain evolved over 200,000 years to keep you safe, not successful, to keep you comfortable, not challenges, to avoid risk, not embrace them. Anytime you scale, you're fighting against that wiring. Every time you want to raise prices but you don't do it is because you don't want to risk rejection. Every time you need to have a hard conversation but you don't do it is because you want to avoid social conflict. This is not a mindset issue, as most people will discuss it. It's a hardware issue. I remember James, let's call it James, a client I worked with last year. He had a successful marketing agency doing about 40K a month, had a few people in his team, and things were doing right, but he had tried to scale for over a year and a half. But every time that he tried to do more outreach, every time that he had the opportunity to sign a partnership that will create more leads and opportunity for him, he would freeze because he didn't want to subconsciously deal with the demands of more scaling. On paper, everything looked right. Survey was excellent, clients were happy, and team members were locked in. But he himself had a subconscious fear that the next level will destroy that tranquility that he had labored so hard to eventually get. And this is why, even if he knew the things he needed to do, he didn't do it. Not because he didn't know what to do or he wasn't motivated, but because his brain was actively working against the necessary uncertainty that taking that decision entailed. And here's what most entrepreneurs miss. Growing your business is hard because you are evolutionarily wired to avoid the things that make it possible. So the real edge is not to try to out-hustle everybody else, but to change your programming. Because you're not competing against other companies, you're competing against your own evolutionary programming. There's year research by Dr. Amy Arnstein that tells us that under stress, your limbic system takes over and it compromises your ability to think clearly and execute consistently. So you stop planning, you stop judging things based on data, you react emotionally and end up making bad decisions. Now, the smart founders realized that what happened was that they had a subconscious conflict that needs to be resolved. But most people do not realize this is the case. So they just blame themselves. They just tell themselves that they need to be more disciplined, they need to be smarter, or in the worst cases, they tell themselves that they're not good enough, that they're never gonna amount to much, that this is something not worth trying because it hasn't worked in the past. This is the sad reality why most people fail. See, to solve this, you need to master a specific set of skills that nobody talks about, which are called performance skills. In business, and really in any domain of human excellence, you need two types of skills to win. Technical skills, which is what you do, funnel building, media buying, hiring, and performance skills, how you do it. So clarity, focus, discipline, motivation, self-regulation, recovery. Technical skills build businesses, but performance skills scale them. I'll say that again because it is very important. Technical skills get you started. Performance skills make sure you scale. If you only master tactics, you will never amount to much. You need to rewire your internal operating system. Back in 2012, McKinsey found out that top performers were up to 8 times more productive in business than average performers. That is not 8%, that is 800%. And that massive gap is not explained through hustle or hard work, because no one can work 8 times harder. It is explained by having fundamentally different operating systems. Just as elite athletes rewire their mind to consistently show up at peak performance at the Olympics, any serious entrepreneurs that really wants to get to 7 figures and stay at 7 figures needs to undergo the same process. I remember another client who came to me after being many years at the $13 million a year mark. She had tried everything, literally everything, to expand his portfolio of clients. He has signed deals, he has opened new business lines, hired new teams. But what was really hurting her is that she had grown so fond of the business she had that she was not willing to risk new ventures. So as I said, this happened to everyone in business, because the brain, unless you rewire it, will always hit a wall. In other words, you are biologically set to lose, and it's just a matter of time that you actually lose it unless you rewire it. Here's an example. Picture 2 founders, right? Both know how to run ads, build funnels, and close sales. But under pressure, when they're facing a cash flow issue, or when the market changes and tariffs go up and down every other day, one freezes, overthinking every move and fearing making a mistake. While the other one understands that it's all about moving fast, learning from feedback, and venturing into the unknown, facing uncertainty with a smile, and get better every single day. Who do you think is going to win? The guy that freezes, overthinks, and is so scared to make a mistake that inevitably ends up making that mistake, or the guy who understands that is overriding your own fear response in order to make smart bets the way you eventually get a winning shot? Now, let me clear about something. This is not about mindset, like most people talk about it. This is literal neural rewiring. This is rewiring your response to challenges. It demands letting go of random tactics that don't work and focus on rewiring your fear response. And in essence, it's all about changing who you are when you run a business. If this is resonating with you, you might be ready for what we do at Selfmastered. We don't teach you hacks. We don't give you templates. We literally take you by the hand, give you accountability, and in order to rewire your mind, your nervous system, and every single system in your business, so you can consistently get to the next level without sabotage. At the highest levels of business, biology will always eat tactics, even strategy, for breakfast. Because if you consistently move faster than anyone else, if you make decisions in minutes instead of weeks, if you can do in 4 hours, most people do in 12. If you can trust yourself, even if every single piece of data goes against your judgment, if you can get going even when you're punched in the face every single day for over a year, you will win. Because you will create the conditions for eventual winning. You won't quit, you will persevere. And that is not a measure of hard work, it's a measure of your mental performance. If you are ready to stop fighting your biology and upgrade it to consistently get more done every single day without suffering, to really take yourself to the next level and join the 1.1% of entrepreneurs who have scaled to 7 figures, book a call with us below. We'll assess whether we can help you right now, and if we do, we're guaranteed that you're gonna experience in the next 3 months more progress than the past 3 years. Remember, success is not about what you know, it's about how you are wired. It's about how consistently you can show up every day to do the things you know you need to do. See you on the call.